At the top left position, a member of the team MVP, the Teal Terran here, did a nice 2 racks last game. He is
MVP Dream.
There he is. MVP Dream. He played a pretty good game last game compared to the last one, but his opponent down here at the right side of the map
OGS Luvsic.
used to be OGSJ, now OGS Luvsic. Now it looks like he's going to be going for a quick hatchery, sending that first early drone scout out again. Wants to be very prepared for Dream. I don't know a ton about Dream, but in the games that I've seen him, he has been known to be very aggressive at times. He did the Hellion opener, got the pre-igniter pretty quick. Then the second game he did 2 racks, and essentially going for this very fast drone scout. Luvsic is just kind of trying to rule out all the possibilities. He wants to get in there to see the gas.
Yeah, he's also going for that pull first opening to be safe against that very, very early 2 racks that we saw last game. He barely defended it, but he did come off second best, and he was just fighting to get back into the game for that long.
Yep, and Dream is actually going to leave an SCV here to wall off if the drone arrives. It does wall off. The drone is on its way over. SCV as well. So he wants to see whether or not Dream is taking a gas with this drone. Unfortunately, though, he will be walled out. He's going to see that it's not a 2 racks, at least not a normal one. In fact, he's not really going to see anything at all because that Marine was out. That's one of the strengths of this map. To do a build that's hidden is you have such a long rush distance. Even if your opponent goes the right scouting direction, you probably won't be able to see what you're up to. Spinecrawler going down very, very early for Luvsic, just to be safe. You can always reposition that later, use it against Hellions or whatever opening that Dream is going for. Speaking of Hellions, I think we may end up seeing that. He does have his factory going up. Hellions just really popular right now in TVZ.
Yeah, they are. We've seen them pretty much almost every game over the last couple of days, and sometimes they work extremely well, sometimes they get completely shut down. It really comes down to the awareness of the other player, but they're definitely worth it if you can sneak them in there.
Blue Flame is like the Dark Templar of Terran. It's a huge investment that you have to make. You're not using your factors for making other things when you're making those Hellions, and on top of that, the Blue Flame upgrade is very expensive. So it is a huge investment to make. If you don't do damage with it, you can control the game with it. Hold that thought. 3 Marines getting kind of caught here, but the 4th will rejoin them with some good micro by Dream. Does actually save all of those Marines. But as I was saying, like Dark Templar, you have them, they're mobile on the map, they shut down expansions if you have them chase down drones, so you can harass, you can kill workers, you can run to the base, kill workers, you can kill larval with them, you can do a lot of different things with them. They're a huge investment though, and if you don't do the initial damage, you still have to use them in some way, or you'll just fall behind. It's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, but we do see 2 reactors going down on the factories.
Yeah, that is actually unusual. I thought, when I saw the labs going down, or the reactor and what I thought was a tech lab, I sat there going, oh yeah, it's going to be 1 reactor, 1 tech lab, it's going to be Hellions and layers going to make tanks, he's going to do the normal pre-igniter Hellion opening, but no, 2 reactors on factories, he's going to make 4 Hellions at a time, so rather than having Blue Flame, he's just going to have so many Hellions. Very interesting style here from Dream. I've seen it before, but not very often. The problem also with this style is that you don't have the tech lab up to make tanks when you need them, so taking that natural becomes somewhat difficult.
We do see an Evo chamber going down, trying to get a wall off here, but if he comes in with quite a lot of Hellions, it isn't really going to make that much of a difference. We do have a Baneling nest down as well, with no Roach Warren this time.
Banelings can be quite good against Hellions when they're on the defensive, because they can never catch the Hellions, sure, but they can be in a place where the Hellions want to go, and then the Hellions just can't go there anymore. What is he doing? He is bringing a ton of SCVs. I've seen a build like this with Blue Flame. When I was back in ZenX, there was a player, ZenX Ice Cream, you guys probably heard of him. He actually used to do a build like this, but with Blue Flame and with less Hellions. This actually can be quite deadly because there are a lot of Marines. It's a very specific all-in. It's a different variation than the one I've seen before.
Yeah,
that
so
is actually a ton of SCVs.
We've got a ton of SCVs, a heap of Marines, Hellions as well. There's 30 Lings in production here for Luvsic, but it's going to be interesting. He's got 3 Queens down at the bottom there as well. He's going to have to focus those down. There we go. He's going to go for it. The 1 Queen drops very quickly. A second one being targeted down here by Dream as well. And those Queens are going to go down. The Spine Crawler down as well. Where are these Lings? 11 Banelings being morphed in. If Luvsic can get some good Banelings off, he will be fine. Oh.
The drones were bunching up, but he didn't quite get them. He's trying to split his units against these Banelings. So many Banelings going through here, and it looks like he may clean this up. More Banelings going to hit these SCVs.
Really need to hit those SCVs. We got more Lings coming out. We got 10 more Lings in production, but there's so many Hellions there. What? What?
It's like, oh, I have 8 SCVs. I'll kill this Baneling to keep my Hellions alive.
There we go. We still do have 5 Hellions and a Marine coming through. But still a lot of Zerglings.
He's just got to hold off these Hellions. It's 21 drones to 10 SCVs. He's lost so much. If he can kill these Hellions, he'll be fine. I just don't know if he can do it. He has surrounded them, but they're just losing so many Lings. This doesn't have a lot of Lings out, so whenever they do pop, the Hellions just clean them up so quickly, and more Hellions reinforcing here.
More Marines as well. He has finally gotten a good surround on that second last Hellion coming through again, but more Hellions are streaming across the map. I don't think he's going to relent any pressure here.
I mean, he has to win with this. If this doesn't kill Luvsic, he's going to lose. And I think Luvsic is going to end up holding this. More Zerglings surrounding the Hellion. Does take out one more of those Hellions. Wants to just push them back a little bit, get a few more Zerglings out. If he cleans this up, he will be okay because, like I said, there's just 11 SCVs left. He's got 2 reactors full of Hellions. He hasn't made a command center.
We've got 4 more Hellions coming into the natural now. He's trying to morph some Banelings. That is what has been keeping him alive in this. And we're going lots more Lings going down. We do have more Lings in production as well. Nothing but Lings in production so far. Is almost going to get that Baneling at the front. Does finally get it down. There's still a lot of Zerglings though.
Yeah, he's got a few more Hellions coming in here to join up. He's going to get surrounded if that Baneling hits it.
Oh, that Marine back here sitting at the Evo Chamber does take out that Baneling. Finally getting rid of all these Lings, but a lot of the Hellions are on very low health here. And if we have a quick look at the production tab, we've got another Spine Crawler and 8 Lings on the way, but I don't think he's going to have enough. He needs to be very careful with where he positions these. He needs to focus down the low Hellions first. One goes down. He's going to start losing drones now.
Yeah, the Hellions cleaning up these last Lings. He's just going to want to avoid that Spine Crawler when it finishes, but here come the Hellions killing the drones. A lot of these drones coming down. Luvsic just barely trying to hold on, but it looks like he's not going to. He's just losing too much here. All the Zerglings being taken out. There's 2 Banelings at the top of the ramp. If those hit these Hellions, oh my god!
Does get quite a few of those Hellions. The final Baneling goes down. He's got more Lings in production. He's got a Queen coming out at natural as well. So he's got that Spine Crawler there. He's going to be safe, but he does not have anything to save these drones.
This is just it, man. He's losing these drones. He doesn't have the production to keep up with more Zerglings, and these Hellions will end the game. Dream will advance. Look at that tab there. It tells the story. So many units killed just by these Hellions. I'm clicking on them. They've got 13, 14 kills. So many kills each. He can hide behind that Spine Crawler all he wants, but there are just too many Hellions here. All the drones for Luvsic being killed. 40 supply to 3 supply, and Luvsic has to be very frustrated with how this game turned out. A nice, clever all-in, poorly executed, but still worked. GG.
Not how I expected that final game to go.
No, not on Terminus 3. The map to do that is not Terminus 3. 2 reactors, pull your SCVs. He pulled about exactly, it was like 20 SCVs.
A lot of those did get taken out by the Bane.
Then when he attacked, he blew up all of his SCVs, and it didn't even, like, the SCVs didn't even really come into play except for that initial engagement. The Spines attacked the SCVs a little bit, and he was able to surround the Queens, so he did take those Queens out. But then after that, he didn't control his SCVs at all, and he just was like, forget the SCVs, I just care to keep my Hellions alive, and eventually, you don't have a Roach Warren, you don't have enough Banelings, and I will just break through and kill you. And he did, just barely. I can't stress enough, he had 10 SCVs back at home. If Luvsic had just held on a little bit longer, he would have won. But the problem was, he didn't have enough Lings at any given moment. He kept making Lings, kept making Lings, kept making Lings. They popped out in groups of 6, maybe groups of 4, and the Hellions kill them. And the more come, but the Hellion numbers stayed the same. The Zergling numbers never got high enough to where they could deal with the Hellions.
Well, the downside to it was every time he tried to clear it out, 4 more Hellions would come through with full health. So we'd get a lot of them to low health and then just back off. And come back with more. He also had Marines streaming across as well. A lot of those were because he was ignoring the Marines at some point, and a couple of them actually took out Banelings that were in position to take out a lot of those Hellions, but very, very close. He looked like he had it for a little bit of time there, but then just fell apart.
Yeah, I can't
unfortunately
stress
so.
to you guys how close of a game that was. If he had just held on a little bit longer, or maybe tried to bait the Hellions back a little bit and keep him away from his base so we could just get that critical number of lings, all he needed was one good surround.
Yep.
One good surround, and if he killed all the Hellions and, 2 more Hellions come in, he's like, it's fine. It's only 2 Hellions. Now I've got the spine up. Everything's cool. Just didn't work out that way. So I don't want to say it was a nicely executed all-in, but it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't scouted at all either. The only warning that Luvsic had was when it was already in the middle of the map coming
Yeah,
down.
it was like at the last watchtower, the right watchtower. There's 4 watchtowers like this in the middle of Terminus Re. And when it got to the last watchtower, Luvsic was like, oh no, I am not ready for this. And then he tried to make a bunch of Zerglings, but the Hellions were already there. There were just too many Hellions, not enough Lings. I can't stress enough. The Lings keep popping out. This is why Zergs die to all-ins. It's not like Protoss where you can just warp in a ton of units somewhere safe and then just attack later, or you have the Terran who's got the army kind of popping out in his main, and then he moves down to defend. Zerg units come out of the hatchery where there are Hellions sitting on top of that hatchery. They come out very slowly, and they come out one at a time, and they're not rallied to attack. They're just on move command. They die. It's awful. It's just too hard.
That being said, a lot of Zergs do go to Roaches to defend against Hellions, and those Banelings actually were what made it so close. If you'd had a few Roaches in there, it would have been nowhere near as effective.
Oh yeah, the Roaches would have been surrounded by the SCVs. It would have gotten really, really bad. And then if he has Roaches and Speedlings, the Hellions kind of take out the Speedlings while the SCVs buffer for just a second.
Yep.
And I know a lot of you guys are going, why didn't you use the SCVs to repair the Hellions? It's not what they're for. They're just there to tank damage, to let the SCVs block the Zerglings line up, the Hellions kill them. Very, very interesting game, though, and Luvsic...
Yeah. Especially after the first game of that set where it seemed very one-sided, too.
I'll be honest with you guys, I think Luvsic's the better player, but sometimes when you know that your opponent's the better player, you do a strategy like that because... I wouldn't want to play Luvsic in a macro game if I were Dream. I would do an all-in, and that winning is important. So, don't be too critical of him. It was an all-in. It was well done. It worked. And he advances. Winning's what this game's about. And he did a good strategy. It worked.
Exactly. So, I think the next game up is Lenok versus... Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
It's
Yoda.
Lenok versus Yoda,
Yes.
I was trying to think of a way to say that in a Yoda-like fashion. Lenok versus Yoda it is. I'm not going to make any Yoda jokes today. I'm actually a huge Star Wars fan, but...
Yeah, I know.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
All right, guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break. When we get back, Lenok versus Yoda.